that all people, want to live happily and peacefully, but because of the conditionings of society and so on, the way we were brought up, we get caught up in a lot of unskillful habits of speech, actions, and thoughts that are all caught up in the law of karma, and that all of our thoughts, speech, and actions produce some kind of results. And essentially, even our body actions, what we do, speech and other body actions, have their root, their beginnings in the mind. Is a thought, is an idea. And so that's why, based on the Dhammapada verse, all actions are led by the mind. Mind is their master, mind is their maker. If one acts or speaks with an impure mind, that means a mind motivated by selfish greed and hatred, then suffering will follow, like the cartwheel follows the foot of the ox. And if one acts or speaks with a pure state of mind, that means the opposite of greed, hatred, and delusion, then happiness will follow, like your shadow follows you around. And almost all the teachings, all the other teachings of the Buddha, the Noble Eightfold Path, factors of enlightenment, 4 foundations of mindfulness, they're all oriented around the ability to weaken the negative factors in our mind and to cultivate the wholesome qualities of thought, speech, and actions that lead to more happiness. But the mind operates through the body. It's not easy to catch a hold of your intentions because our mind and brain, according to modern science, is working faster than Google. You know how fast Google search, right? And nowadays, especially AI, right? It can go through the whole, 10 quadrillion bits of information in computer storage in 2 seconds and come up with an answer. Well, our brain operates faster than that. And so that's why we cannot see our impulses until we've already kind of acted upon them. And we get carried away in our thoughts before we realize, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have said that. Why shouldn't I have done that? Because our nervous system, acts so quickly. And that's why the Buddha, in his great wisdom and his understanding, realized that first we have to, if we want to change the way we think and act, if we want to cultivate a more inward, relaxed vibration in our nervous system, we have to first get our mind recentered in the body. Because again, that's where we started from. The body and mind started in the womb. And when it came out, it kept on going. And the mind is intimately fused within every cell of the body has a mind, so to speak. That means it has awareness and conditioning. But because most people's minds are just caught in the going back and forth between the past and the future, and is not grounded in the body. When the baby comes out of the womb, yes, it still has its kind of attention is intimately connected in the body, but it loses that gradually. It learns language, it starts to crawl around and starts going after things to give it pleasurable feeling or to avoid things that give it painful feeling. We're caught up in that push and pull between past and future, pleasure and pain. Our whole life revolves around that conditioning of the mind wanting pleasure and to avoid pain. And all the precepts are broken by people in order to get something they want or get away from something they don't want. From very gross, obvious things, even to very subtle things. Like every time you blink your eye, you blink because there's a kind of a subtle irritation in the eye, and you're blinking, hope to get rid of that subtle irritation. Or, people are always going like this, and they hardly even know it, but that's because of irritation. I don't want that itch. Scratch. So every time we do those kind of reactions, it increases those habits and increases the phenomenon of aversion. And whenever there's aversion, there's going to be liking and desire. They're like two sides of a coin. The past and the future, pleasure and pain, those are intimately connected. There's no future without the idea of the past. There's no pain without the idea of pleasure. And the whole practice of meditation is about learning how to bring the mind to the middle path. You've all heard of the middle path, right? But usually they define the middle path as right speech, right action, right livelihood, okay? But the middle path is the mind resting in the middle. The ultimate, deepest meaning of the middle path is the mind that's grounded and resting in the present moment, and letting everything just come and go, and having the ability to think, do I really need to say this right now? Do I really need to scratch that itch right now? Do I really need to think like this right now? And have the intelligence to let go of what is not useful and to do what is useful. But most people don't have that cutting edge technology, what I call mental technology, high tech. So actually the Buddhist training is high tech. Getting control of your consciousness, getting control over the nervous system, because really that's where we live. But we've never been trained. And so the Dhamma teaching is about how to retrain. That's why the title of this retreat was Reconditioning the Body and Mind. Initially, it was suggested that the title be Deconditioning the Body and Mind. But in order to decondition the body and mind, we have to recondition it first in ways that bring more happiness. And then eventually you'll be able to even let go of those. So anyway, that's kind of in a brief nutshell or recap, what we were talking about last night. So how to get centered in the body, how to begin that process. Because normally our mind is wandering between, always caught up in thoughts of the past and the future. And it hardly is ever rest in the middle, because we've never been told about it. How many of your parents told you to rest your mind in the middle when you were like 5 years old? Or just, stop for a minute, take a deep breath, just come to the present moment. Even your doctors didn't tell you that, did they? And certainly not the politicians. So that's the problem. Because no one has understood it the way that somebody like the Buddha has understood it. So, what we're going to be doing today and tomorrow is cultivating this, the foundations of mindfulness. But it starts with the body. And it means learning how to get reconnected back to where you were born, which is in the body, which means the present moment. So when I talk about the body or mention the body, I mean the present moment. Because whenever you're remembering, sitting, at that time your mind is in the present moment. So now there's three main hindrances to that process, or the hindrances connected with meditation, the things that make the ability to develop concentration difficult. And traditionally they talk about 5 hindrances, but I've condensed them down into 3, because 3 things are easier to remember than 5. And but the first one is sleepiness. So when you try to meditate in the morning, even though you might have slept 8 hours, after 5 minutes or so, little by little, this kind of thing starts coming up. And if you're not too sleepy, the second one is physical pain. That means if you're sleep is a way to escape from pain, whether it's mental pain or physical pain. So the mind goes to sleep, so it temporarily, gets connected from that. So when you overcome the sleepiness and you're staying more awake, then you're going to feel many, many more uncomfortable itches, irritations, and also to notice more of your thoughts going through the mind. And the ability to endure pain is a very powerful ally to meditation. Most people have very weak pain intolerance. And that's why we're always, scratching this or, or whatever, twiddling the thumbs, as I mentioned, and we probably do that hundreds of thousands of times a day, but we're usually oblivious to it because we're so used to doing it. We don't see it as anything okay, but it builds up. So the ability to observe irritations and pain without reacting to them is a very powerful mental power. Because 99% of those pains are not life-threatening and they're not going to really hurt you. It's just that we have lost that tolerance. And the whole society is about more and more comfort, right? And even your cats, they're always trying to find the softest bed in your house or the softest seat. They're always seeking more and more comfort. And anything that doesn't bring us comfort, we get, angry about, or, so, they're always talking about statistics these days, but somebody ought to make statistics about how many times people react in one day to irritations, whether it's something you hear from somebody talking or criticizing somebody's clothes or whatever. So learning how to just observe those irritations, but without sort of following them, because they're just momentary sort of impulses. So anyway, learning to endure the pain so that you can stay concentrated. And then, if there's no sleepiness, and you can endure the pains and discomforts, what's the last one? What's the third one? Come on, you all know it. Monkey mind. Too many thoughts, right? You're usually carried away in your thoughts of the past and the future, opinions, ideas, they're limitless. So those three things, sleepiness, pain, and too many thoughts, these are the main things that occupy most of your meditation. Now, coming back to the traditional 5 hindrances, which are sense desire, ill will, and doubts, those are all categorized as thoughts, even though they do have their differences and they're important to understand, but we lump them into just the category of thinking. And so in mindfulness practice, becoming aware of the hindrances is important so that we can observe it and apply the skillful antidote or remedy or the counterbalance to that, so the mind doesn't go on following them. And when you learn how to observe something just for a few moments, that object will usually, it's changing, and then it will often kind of disappear. Or you just be aware of something else. The mind can't normally be aware fully of 2 things at one time. So if we're focusing on that itch, then it's going to, cause you to, want to get rid of it or to act upon it. But if there's something else you can notice, why observe an itch over here when you can feel something over on this side or feel something over here? And so the training in mindfulness is learning how to let go of what is disturbing the mind and be aware of other things that are not so disturbing, or just some other object of concentration. Anyway, I don't want to make this too difficult. But basically, those are three hindrances. Because if they weren't there, you'd automatically be in a meditative state. Because overcoming those hindrances is the hallmark of entering the first jhana. The five hindrances gets temporarily suppressed. And so it's not about concentrating the mind on one object. It's about weakening the hindrances so the mind rests in the present moment, which is the natural vibration of consciousness, which we'll talk about later. But it's connected with the body. So anyway, I hope I didn't confuse anybody with all that. But it's those three main hindrances, which is most of what you call meditation is learning how to observe them, skillfully apply the antidote, and they keep coming back to your primary object of concentration, which is the breathing or the body or the flow of the present moment. Now, as I mentioned before, the posture is probably the most important part, especially of sitting meditation, and especially the spinal column. Meditation happens between your brain and the spinal cord. That means meditation is about feeling and being aware of the things coming through our senses. But all those vibrations start at the senses, go through the nervous system that are located along the spinal cord, coming from the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin, and then they get relayed to the brain where you have consciousness. But it's happening at the speed faster than a supercomputer is processing information. That's why normally we're not aware of it. So keeping, meditation is half physical and half mental. And the body affects the mind and the mind affects the body. That's why we have to basically be aware of both of them, work on both of them. But in Buddhism, people tend to think it's just a mental exercise. And they neglect sometimes the body in terms of getting exercise, doing some deep breathing and so on. And so they make the meditation harder than it should be. Meditation shouldn't be that hard if you do your homework, if you do the preparatory things. And that's why, I include some things like developing deep, slow breathing and some stretches, coordinated stretching, bending and stretching movements in order to activate to charge up the cells of the body. Look, this body is made up of billions and billions of cells. Anybody argue that? Right? For the moment of conception, you have one cell organism in the space of 9 months. They multiplied into, I don't know how many billions or trillions of them are now. But and they all live off of oxygen and some other things brought in, but primarily oxygen. And the lungs were made a certain size for a purpose. I mean, nature didn't waste anything, did it? This body is made up perfectly proportioned in its original blueprints, through evolution. But they all need oxygen. But it's a proven fact, and any doctor will tell you that people only breathe 1/10 of their lung capacity in normal breathing. So what does that tell you? If everything is built proportionally for the size of the body and everything, is an engineer. The whole body was engineered. You know how many engineers out there in the world? How many of you engineers? You've seen blueprints for buildings. I mean, incredible detail, right? Down to the size of each bolt, depending on what kind of things are being used. So the same way in the body. Now, I'm just saying this to try to emphasize or illustrate the importance of, understanding why, that developing deep, slow breathing and then the coordinated exercises that help to get the oxygen out to all the cells of the body. Because if your body is stiff and your joints are stiff, the oxygen that you're breathing in has a harder time penetrating all the little nooks and crannies, getting to the remotest cells and tissues. And if that happens, that's what causes pain. Most of pain is due to the energy flow getting blocked, either by stiff tissue, by swollen joints, or just, very shallow breathing. And that's why people wind up having so much pain, more pain than necessary, as well as sleepiness. So that's why that I normally encourage people to start the meditation sessions with learning how to do some deep, slow breathing and some stretching, so you have more feeling in the body. The mind, wants to go to sleep or wants to think about other people's bodies because their own body is half dead. That means there's hardly no sensations there until you have a pain. People feel the painful sensations. Or if they're with their friend, they might feel some pleasant sensations, right? But ordinarily, in your daily life, moment to moment, hour by hour, you hardly ever feel the body because the mind has not been trained in it. But anyway, so by learning how to generate a more powerful flow of sensations in the body that really keeps the mind awake, it's almost like electricity going through the body when you're feeling sensations from all the different places, which is possible. So that's where we're going to kind of pick up from this morning, because as in the teachings of the Buddha on the foundations of mindfulness, the main Buddhist teaching on meditation is the 4 foundations of mindfulness. And it starts with mindfulness of the body. In his very first instructions where a person should sit down, cross their legs. See, in those days, in Buddha's day, there weren't many chairs around. People didn't have chairs in their house. They all sat on the floor. So everybody was used to sitting cross-legged. It wasn't a big deal. So, but, in this country where it's not normally done, and, people have difficulty doing that. So sitting on chairs is an option. But keeping the spine straight is important. So keeping the spine straight and keeping the head balanced. Because, as I mentioned last night, the gravity is always trying to pull us down. And because we don't exercise the body, we don't exercise the spinal column and the back too much, or the neck, unless you're doing weight trainings and things like that. So gravity, first thing, it grabs the chin. And because we're not to have attention to the body, the chin goes down like that. We don't even know it. We don't even know what's happening. It might be several minutes. You're starting to get a sore neck because of that. Oh, your chin's down and you're half asleep. So keeping the chin level with the floor, making a special attention to that. And also the inward curve of the lower spine. Those are the two most important parts of the posture, especially in the beginning. Is keeping the inward curve of the lower lumbar spine in its proper shape, not exaggerated, over exaggerating it, but not letting it bulge out either. And that inward curve of the lower spine was made by nature again, for a reason. What's the reason for the inward curve of the lumbar spine? You went to college, right? To support the weight of the upper body. That's physics. It's physics. Right? So it's there because half the weight of the body is from the waist up to the top of the head. That's a lot of weight, 50, 60, 70 pounds. So therefore, that once that bulge goes outward, there's nothing to support it, and you just keep getting hammered down until a lot of people are sitting like this, and you get winding all kind of pains all over. So that's why the attention to the posture. That's the first directions that the Buddha gave after crossing the legs. Keep the back straight. And then start breathing in and out. So, and taking deep, slow breaths in the beginning. Usually meditation teachers will tell you, don't control the breath. Don't control the breath. Just let it be natural. Well, what is natural? Our breathing has become unnatural because of bad postures and all of our erratic thinking. Our breath has become short and shallow. That, so this idea of normal natural breathing is people are confused about it. So, and in the beginning, it's not easy to feel. If you're just trying to watch the breath or feel the air touching the nostrils, it may not be strong enough to hold your attention. So then the mind either goes to sleep or starts thinking about other things. But instead, if you do some deep, slow breathing, like, especially you kind of feel the expansion of the rib cage and chest, some more prominent kind of sensation, and then hold the breath in for a couple of seconds to allow all that oxygen in the lungs to get out into the bloodstream and be carried out to the cells of the body so they get charged up. I mean, that's the whole point of breathing. So by developing deep, slow breathing, it helps you to concentrate. And it also helps to, as I just mentioned, to activate the cells of the body, which get them to vibrating. So you have more feeling in the body. And that's the same feeling you had for 9 months in the womb. Maybe you weren't breathing in the womb, but you're feeling all those sensations. Anyway, so you become aware of the breathing and then the body. So you're taking the breath in from the outside, right? So the oxygen you're breathing in comes from the outside, goes through the nostrils. So it's find the external body, where it goes into the lungs and you feel the expansion of the lungs, the clothing rubbing against the skin. So that's called finding the external body, because usually our mind is just wandering around in thoughts. It's not centered in the body. So the mindfulness of the breathing is to bring the attention to the body, and once you found the body, then you start feeling more of the body. The breath is no longer so important at that time. And then you're being aware of sitting. Know that you're sitting. Those are the second phase of the mindfulness. After mindfulness of breathing, being aware that you're sitting. How do you know that you're sitting? Anybody? How do you know that you're sitting? because you feel some sensations of it, right? You feel your buttocks pressing the seat. You feel your hands touching together. You feel the clothing touching the skin. So you feel those sensations and sitting. That's the present moment. Or standing, or walking. You just simply remember the present moment of the body. And so that helps to bring the mind out of thoughts of the past and the future, get it centered in the body and in the present moment. So that's basically where we stopped off last night. That's the first stage of meditation, is learning how to bring the mind out of its thoughts, overcome sleepiness, and endure pains and discomforts a little bit, so that the mind can rest more and more in the present moment. And when you do that, see, all problems are problems of the past and the future. Think of any problem you have that's not connected to the past and the future. I don't think you'll find one. So that's why by always remembering the body is the only thing that's really in the present moment all the time. From the moment you were born to the moment you die, the body is your best friend. The body is the only thing reliable that's always with you. It's like your little puppy dog, always sitting by your side. Everything else comes and goes. You can't control it. You can't control your cat. You can't control your dog. Somebody comes and it leaves you and goes to lick somebody else coming in the house. Or you can't control anything. It's always subject to coming and going. But your body is always there. So why not use it for a good purpose? For developing mindfulness, for learning how to stay grounded and centered in the present moment. Not always being carried away in all of your emotions and passions and in impulses that result in a lot of unnecessary agitation and problems. You're having a conversation with somebody or something is happening, instead of reacting, just go into the body. Feet pressing the floor. Standing, sitting. Feel the clothing touching the skin. The more sensations you can feel, the less time for the mind to get drawn outside. That's the key. So we have to develop this pleasurable feeling in the body in order to keep the mind there. So anyway, more about that later or in the afternoon Dhamma talk. Okay, so now we're going to stand up, as you've already been sitting for some time and might be getting some discomfort building up in your legs already. And we're going to do a short standing and breathing awareness, maybe a few stretches, as I mentioned, before sitting down again. So just try to stand straight, try to keep your chin lifted up level with the floor. Relax your shoulders and arms at the sides. Gently close your eyes. Try to feel your eyelids over the eyeballs. And just mentally remind yourself of standing, present moment of the body. Now move your attention down to feel your feet, the bottoms of your feet pressing the floor, the heels and balls of the feet or toes. Just try to imagine and feel that height and weight of the body pressing the feet into the ground. Feel that solid contact. Again, just keep remembering standing, letting go of your thoughts. Now let the awareness kind of move up from the feet to feel your hands and fingers. Just focus on your hands and fingers. See if you can feel the subtle vibration, tingling sensations, maybe the pulse of blood. Try to feel that aliveness in the hand. You're just letting your thoughts come and go in the background. And try to feel the weight of the arms hanging from your shoulders. Each arm weighs a few pounds hanging from the shoulders. Try to feel that. And try to feel where the clothing touches the skin of your chest, the stomach. All those are just present moment sensations. Just remember standing. Moving the awareness back up to the head. Feel your head balanced on top of the spinal column. Feel your eyes in the socket. Feel the skin stretched over the front of the skull. Just keep remembering standing. From that point behind the eyes, just try to feel the vague outline of the standing body, sense of the head on top, the arms at the sides, clothing touching the skin, feet pressing the floor. Any or all of those, or as many of those sensations you can notice, helps to keep out of your thoughts. It's the body. Okay, now begin some deep, slow breathing. Try to take 2 or 3 seconds to expand your abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest. Feel that expansion going upward into the upper chest. Hold the air in for 2 seconds. Allow the oxygen to get out into the bloodstream, then breathe out. Try to feel the last bit of air go out. You breathe out slowly. And again, the in breath. Hold it in a moment. Out breath. Feel the last bit of air go out. Just take a few more breaths like that, developing this mindfulness of breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. And now we're going to combine this breathing with these fairly simple body movements, stretches. So you can open your eyes and observe me as I lead you through that. We do the movement while breathing in, holding that position for about 2 seconds, and then returning to the starting point on the out breath. Now, most people have never been trained to hold their breath in, but it's very powerful. It's easy to do if you just do it. Don't think about it, just do it. So on the next in breath, raise your arms over the head. Interlock your fingers, turn the palms up, straighten the arms, stretch your head back. And release your fingers, and on the out breath, feel the last bit of air go out of your lungs as the arms come down. Again, in breath. Stretch up. Stretch the head back. Feel the sensations, out breath. And back to the side. Once more, in. Stretch up, bend back a little bit, hold it a little longer, feel the sensation. Out breath. Feel the last bit of air go out as the arms come down. And relax. Just keep feeling the body, feel the feet pressing the floor. Feel the arms at the sides, clothing touching the skin. The head on top. Just remember standing, standing, standing. Present moment of the body. Just letting your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Keep the sensations of the standing body in the front of the awareness, like you are looking in a mirror. Just let the sounds come and go in the background. On the next in breath, we're going to lift up on the balls of the feet while raising the arms over the head in this way. Face the hands toward each other and stretch up. Out breath, come back down. Feel the air going out as the arms come down. Use the in breath to help lift up the body, blowing up a helium balloon. The body rises up. Out breath. Once more. Straight. Out. Relax. And keep feeling the outline of the body. You always come back to feel your eyes. That point behind the eyes helps to light up the other parts of the body. Feel the increased sensations due to the breathing and the stretching. Being all those billions of vibrating cells. Just letting go of the thought. Just think body, body, body. Standing, standing. And next we'll do side bending using both arms. So on the next in breath, raise both arms up. You keep your fingers and arms straight, close to your head. On the out breath, bend over the right side as far as you comfortably can. You keep the arms parallel to each other. In breath, lift up. Pause a moment. And then next out breath, other side. Feel the stretch at the side. In breath up. Keep alternating sides with the breathing. Out breath. Feel the sensation. Once more to each side. On the out breath, lower the arms. Close the eyes, relax. Keep feeling the body. Don't give the mind time to wander in thoughts. The body is always here, right now. It's beneath your nose. Standing, standing, standing. Feel the clothing touching the outer skin and subtler life force sensations under the skin. You might notice any little aches or pains or itchy sensations. Just let them be there in the background. None of those are going to hurt you. Just let your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind, like all the advertisements, news things you see going across your computer screen. Most of them you ignore. Standing, standing. Okay, now place your hands on the hips. We're going to kind of be twisting from right to left. Give a lateral twist to the spinal cord. So breathe in. On the out breath, just twist the body to the right as far as you can. Turn the eyes to the right. Kind of look at something behind you. The in breath, come back to the front. And then twist to the other side with the out breath. In breath, front. Into the right, out breath. In, out. In. Once more to each side. Come back to the front. Just relax, hands down. Keep feeling the body. Feel the increased sensations. Clothing touching the outer skin. The heart beating, pulsations, prickly sensations. So many different kinds of sensations. Notice on the surface or under the skin of this body. They're all just present moment awareness. The more sensations you can notice, the more awareness you have. And next we'll do head turning. Loosen up the neck vertebrae. The neck is a superhighway that connects the brain to the lower body. It needs to be nice, lubricated, and flexible. On the in-breath, turn your head to the right. As far as you comfortably can, look over your right shoulder. On the out-breath, turn the head all the way back to the left. Look over the left shoulder. Just concentrate into the neck vertebrae. Imagining them loosening up, in-breath to the right. Might even hear some noises in the neck. Out breath left. Once more to each side. Let's stop in the middle. You know, just touch your hands on the front of your legs. And we're going to do a kind of a back bending. You have to be careful with back bends because when you do a back bend, and when you come up from a back bend, the energy can come going up the spine. It could cause you a little dizziness. What happened to somebody yesterday, kind of fainted a bit, so don't get back too far. So breathe in, stretch the head back, you look up, bend the spine a little bit, bend back a little bit. Get out the breath. On the in breath, straighten up. Do that 2 more times. Out breath, bend back. And in breath, and out the breath, in breath, lift up. Let out the breath. Once more, in breath, bend back. Let out the breath. In breath, lift up. In the out breath, relax. Feel the whole body. So feel as though you are standing on a vibrating machine, feeling all those vibrations from the soles of your feet, up through the legs, hands, up to the top of the head. And feel the outline of the body. This present moment, body-centered awareness, the natural awareness, same feeling the baby has in the womb before coming out. Okay. And now having done that, how many of you think you felt any of that at all? Anybody have a real strong kind of powerful sensations going through the body? Okay, so that's one of the main purposes why I usually lead people through that just before sitting, because now and then when you sit down, it's like you're halfway there already. You know, your knees are somewhat more connected to the body, and it's easier to maintain that as you begin the sit. So go ahead and mindfully sit back down. Let's try to sit straight, establish that natural inward curve of the lower spine. Just place your hands either one on top of the other. If you want to rest them on the legs, you can, but this is usually the preferred meditation position. And gently close your eyes. Just feel your eyes in the sockets. Just try to imagine your body was a pyramid, like a pyramid. The head point, top of the pyramid, the top of your head, the two knees, like the edges of the pyramid, and the earth, the buttocks in both knees or feet, grounded in the earth, the floor. Just keep the chin level with the floor. And try to find the center of gravity. There's a center of gravity of the head and spine over the hips, which is kind of like a tipping point where the body could either tip backwards or tip forwards. See if you can find that straight posture, alert posture. Try to hold that in the mind's eye. Just rest your attention on the eyes. You should be able to feel the vague outline of the larger body. And just remember sitting. And begin some deep, slow breathing again, like we did in the yoga. Just developing this mindfulness, breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath a second. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Feel the last bit of air go out. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to count the breaths from 1 to 10 again. Try to develop a more continuous concentration on the breathing I'll do the counting for you. Just try to follow that with your breathing and concentration, just letting go of your thoughts. So on the next expanding in breath, mentally count to 1. Hold the breath in a second. And with the contracting out breath, also count to 1. Feel the last bit of air go out. The next in breath, 2. Out, 2. In, 3. Out, 3. In, 4. Out, 4. In, 5. Out, 5. In, 6. Out, 6. In, 7. Out, 7. In, 8. Out, 8. In, 9. Out, 9. In, 10. Out, 10. As the breath goes out, completely relax. Don't try to control the breath any longer. Let there be a little pause. Just feel the air as it naturally comes back in on its own. Keep your attention focused there in the center of the body. Feel the residual or shorter expanding and contracting sensation. Try to feel where the clothing is rubbing against the skin of the stomach, rib cage, or chest. It expands and contracts. Make that your primary focus of concentrated mindfulness. Just knowing when the breath is coming in and knowing when the breath is going out. You know it by feeling it, feeling those subtle vibrations. Try to tune in to the 4 phases of each breath cycle. The expanding in breath is a brief little pause, half a second or so, followed by the contracting out breath, with a brief little pause before the next in breath. During the pauses between the breaths, just check the posture. Keep the chin level with the floor. Maintain the inward curve of the lower spine. So to help stay awake, you can use these mental reminders of in, sitting, out, sitting. It's the ongoing, continuous present moment of this sitting, breathing body. In, sitting, out, sitting. Breath by breath, moment by moment, letting your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind, keeping the breathing body in the front of the awareness. You're looking into a mirror. In, sitting, out, sitting. Just let any sounds just come and go in the background. It's just hearing. Stay connected to the breathing. In, sitting, out, sitting. If there's still too many thoughts or other distractions, do some more kind of deeper, slower, deliberate breathing to help stay concentrated, to keep the bloodstream charged up with oxygen. To help stay awake in the center of the body. You catch the mind lost in thoughts, recognize it as lost. Find the body sitting on the floor. Take a deep, slow breath. Bring the mind back into the body. Back to in, sitting. Out, out, sitting. Be aware when any unpleasant or sensations distract the attention. See that urge to want to move. Just make a note of urging. Just relax around that sensation. It disappears within a few moments. So with each out breath, allowing the body and mind to relax more and more to the here and now, the present moment awareness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. He's caught up in thinking, recognize it as thinking. Gently let go of the thoughts. Take a deep breath. Recenter in the body. A few more and more sensations coming and going. This breathing body. Breathing is going on in the center of the body, but all around it, other sensations are coming and going. It's called body-centered awareness. Just try to be aware of the stream of thoughts moving through the back of the mind, waiting for a chance to dart in and steal your mind away. The more sensations you can feel, the less chance for your mind to get caught by an errant thought. If any sounds catch your attention, it's just hearing. But if you think about the sound, that's thinking. Just let go of both the hearing and the thinking. Just reflexively always coming back, breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. what thoughts come into the mind based on that sound vibration. Just keep feeling the body. So now we're going to slowly transition from the sitting position up to the standing position, and then going out for walking. We're going to do it step by step. So first of all, just mindfully place your hands at the edge of your knees. And take another deep breath as you breathe in. Stretch your head back, pull the hands against your knees. Arch your spine, look up at the ceiling. Feel the sensation. Let out the breath. Breathe in, lift the head up. And on an out breath, press the chin to the little notch at the top of the chest to stretch the neck vertebra. Lift the chin up level on an in-breath. Relax on the out-breath. Now mindfully begin kind of unfolding your legs. Feel the relief of discomfort. Feel the changing sensation. Just stretch the legs out to one side. Keep your feet about 6 inches apart. And flex your toes to bring the blood to come back into your legs and feet. Nice good flexing of the toes and arches. And then we're going to do a nice little exercise to loosen up the ankles. So move your toes inward to try to touch your big toes kind of down towards the floor. And then on an in-breath, make a circular movement with the feet as you bring the feet back up to join the toes up at the top. It's on an in-breath. On the out-breath, press the toes down towards the floor. In-breath, bring the feet back up to touch at the top. Once more, out-breath, press the toes down. In-breath, circular movement back up to the top. Now reverse the direction, out breath, make the circular movement down to touch the toes near the bottom. In breath, bring the toes back up toward the body. Out breath, toes down. You can kind of lean forward on the in breath. Kind of go back. It's like rowing a boat rowing action with the upper body. 3 times in each direction. Okay, now we'll do the forward stretch. The hands together at the chest. Breathe in, hands over the head. On the out breath, touch the chest first and reach forward to try to hold on to your toes. If you can't reach your toes, grab a hold of your ankles and kind of pull with the arms to stretch. Let the little bones in your lower spine stretch out. And keep the legs straight if possible. Feel all those stretch sensations. Even if it's a little painful, that's okay. No pain, no gain without pain. And sit back up. Let your hands rest on the knees. Close your eyes. Just mentally feel the body exactly as it is. Head on top, buttocks pressing the seat. Hands touching the knees. Heels pressing the floor. Just this body exactly as it is, here and now. Present moment, body-centered awareness. Feel the clothes touching the skin. Okay, now bring your feet up towards the body. And then if you can, kind of push up into this squatting position. We call the pre-standing squat position. have you press your palms flat on the floor like the feet of a duck. Then on an in-breath, to feel the muscles in your legs pushing the body up as you carefully stand up. Be aware of any dizziness or rush of sensation. Standing all the way up straight. Relax your arms at the sides. Just close the eyes. Feel the feet pressing the floor. Feel your hands and arms hanging at the sides. The clothing touching the skin. Feel the head balanced on top. The eyes in the socket. Now begin some deep, slow breathing again. Expand the abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest. Hold the air in for 2 seconds. Feel that subtle energy of the oxygenating blood. And on the out breath, feel the last bit of air go out of the lungs. Just cultivating this mindfulness. Take a few more breaths. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the air. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Breathing in, standing. Breathing out, standing. Can't get away from the body, it's always right there, just beneath your nose. Okay, now we're going to be going outside to do a session of some walking awareness. So until you get outside, you can move a little bit, try to remain mindful, but okay, so go out, probably go barefoot if you want, or get your shoes on. And we're going to meet out in the parking lot, between your